the Agile brand.
Welcome to the B2B Agility Podcast, where we look at the factors that drive success in B2B marketing, with a focus on the people, processes, data, and platforms that make B2B brands stand out and thrive in a competitive marketplace. I'm your host, Greg Kihlstrom, advising Fortune 1000 brands on MarTech, marketing operations, and CX, best-selling author and speaker. Now let's get on to the show. What's harder, building a global marketing strategy from scratch or educating your organization on why it matters in the first place? Today's guest has done both, twice. Sangeeta Prasad is the Chief Marketing Officer of Slalom, a global business and technology consulting firm with $3 billion in yearly revenue and a presence in 53 offices in 12 countries. With 3 decades of marketing experience across brands like Procter Gamble, American Express, and Chase, Sangeeta has spent her career not just building campaigns, but building belief in the power of marketing. Sangeeta, welcome to the show.
Greg, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, looking forward to talking about all this with you. Before we dive in, though, why don't we start with you? I know I gave a little background there, but give a little more background on yourself and your current role at Slalom.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. And I have spent 30 years plus in marketing across big and small companies, B2C, B2B, global, US. And I have just learned through that I'm really a marketing evangelist. That's what I think of myself as being, not just a marketer, but a marketing evangelist. And I say that because I believe that great marketing doesn't just tell stories, it creates believers. And my job as a marketer is to turn skeptics into champions and to show the real measurable impact that marketing has. And so, as you grow up in a marketing organization, it really feels like you're doing a lot of work that is day-to-day work. And then as you become a CMO, you realize a lot of what you do is converting people from where they are today to where you need them to be.
That's a great segue to, the first thing I want to talk about is, so you've been the first chief marketing officer at 2 different organizations, so speaking of evangelism, a new role to the organization and playing that twice. What's the, from your experience, what's the biggest misconception that people have about what marketing can or should do when you step into a brand new role like that?
It's a really good question, Greg, because being a first CMO twice is maybe being a glutton for punishment, but I just love the challenge. And let me talk about maybe 3 misconceptions. The first one is that once you've hired a marketing team, your investment is done. I think what companies don't realize who don't have CMOs is that marketing is not like sales or finance where the people are the investment. In marketing, people are less than half of the investment. The rest comes in the campaigns and the work you do. And that has been quite an education evolution for companies that I've been at. Maybe the second misconception is bring marketing in at the end, tell them what to do, and make them execute. I think that's how people think of marketing. And what my team and I are on a path to doing is explaining that we are partners from strategy to execution, and the results will be better if you don't tell us what to do, but tell us what your problem is and let us help solve it.
Yeah.
And maybe the third one, which I've experienced over and over again, which is that once you build the website, people will come.
Right.
No, you have to bring people to the website. The website is the foundational element for marketing. It is not the outcome of marketing. It is just what you build in order to do campaigns and have somewhere to land. Yeah. So maybe those are the 3 biggest ones.
Yeah. And I mean, it sounds like, obviously there's a high degree of trust in the individual, you got put in the CMO role, but there's maybe lack of understanding and lack of trust in the process of marketing, probably just due to lack of experience with it, right? Is that
100%? Yeah. I think, first of all, everyone thinks they're a marketer, right?
Right.
You run an event and you're a marketer. And so you come into an organization where everyone thinks they know what you should be doing. The technical and the science part of marketing is so hidden, I think, from everyone and what they do, that they have no idea that there's actually some stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
Right.
And so you're absolutely right. It is a challenge to get people to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it a certain way.
Yeah. And then, so in a company like Slalom, a global organization it's grown organically and intentionally, how do you align marketing around such a broad, global footprint without losing some of that local context that got it where it, where it.
Yeah, we think of it as enhancing the local context as we expand our global reach. At Slalom, we believe we work at the intersection of business, technology, and humanity. And humanity is a really important aspect of that because when we work with customers and clients, we work at a one-on-one level. And our company has been built on the premise that our consultants work in the locations where they live. And so they're really part of the community. So we never lose that aspect of being very connected to both the local customers and the local community. At the same time, as we grow globally, we bring in expertise and enhancement that you wouldn't otherwise have. But at the center of it all are the humans, and we call ourselves fiercely human. And we do that because we really bring our head and heart into everything we do. And I think we've done a good job of keeping that local specialness with the global reach. And even when we have global campaigns for marketing, we always customize it, personalize it at a local level.
Yeah. And then so from the internal perspective, so that's kind of the external view of keeping it local and yet, adhering to the brand and everything. How do you maintain that internal, team feeling when, again, you're in 53 offices in 12 countries, and, how do you balance that part as well?
I think that's probably the biggest challenge any CMO has in a distributed model.
Yeah.
And when I first joined, there were marketers in each office doing exactly what they wanted with no connection. And that has been great for our local, we call ourselves local soul and global reach. So it's been great for our local soul, but it's not been great for marketing, which is all about cohesion. And the impact of investment is much greater when you do it in a connected way. And so it's been like 4 years of me working with my stakeholders to help them understand and to show them results. When we do things together, look at how much greater the impact is. The good news is that the marketers in the local markets all want to work together because they realize how much more we can do if we work together. So we're in the process of, I would say, connecting more and more, bringing everyone together. And I think I would say now we are probably at the close to being as connected as we're going to be.
Yeah. And I mean, that's really just, it's a product of organic growth, or even through acquisition. I mean, this stuff, that's how it happens. You do what
Yes.
you need to do in your local market, and then you kind
Yes.
of grow and expand and all that stuff. So it's part of that organic process. But it sounds like the CMO role has really helped, solidify kind of that more cohesive approach. Is that safe to say?
Yes. I think that is safe to say. It's also safe to say that my first year I was not successful doing that because you have to build trust, show some short-term results, show the quality of your work before the local leaders say, okay, I think this is going to
Right.
be good for me. And so it has been a little bit of it's building of trust, building of relationships, and showing results. The combination has really helped us bring everything together. And I think the things that I really believe in to keep it connected are communicate, educate, and connect, right? So communication, you can never over communicate. I always think, oh, I've communicated this so many times and people have still no idea what I'm saying.
Right.
So communicate, educate. Marketing is changing so much. It's probably the function that's changed most over the years. So we have to continually educate our leaders and our marketers on what to do. And then they all need to feel part of a whole cohesive group. And I think that's what we're working on doing right now.
Hi, I'm Chris Gethard, and I'm very excited to tell you about Beautiful Anonymous, a podcast where I talk to random people on the phone. I tweet out a phone number, thousands of people try to call. We talk to one of them, they stay anonymous. I can't hang up. That's all the rules. I never know what's going to happen. We get serious ones. I've talked with meth dealers on their way to prison. I've talked to people who survived mass shootings. Crazy funny ones. I talked to a guy with a goose laugh, somebody who dresses up as a pirate on the weekends. I never know what's going to happen. It's a great show. Subscribe today, Beautiful Anonymous.
Yeah, and if you could talk a little bit more, because I know there's a lot of organizations that kind of struggle with that internal education. There's so much time is spent, trying to educate the market to, to hire the company and buy products and services and all that, and yet educating internal stakeholders. I would say in my experience, B2B is unique in that way as well, because there's such a sales culture
Yes.
in so many organizations as well. So that when sales and marketing work together well, it's amazing. But, kind of understanding, kind of getting up to speed with that can take a bit of education. What kind of activities or, how do you approach like education in that way about, getting everybody on the same page?
That's a really good question, Greg, because that is probably the single biggest challenge that all marketers have. And the approach we're taking is show as much data as you can.
Yeah.
So everything we're doing, we're showing ROI or measuring ROI behind that. And now we actually have campaigns we can show the marketing lift of sales motion. So when marketing is involved, you get X% more than when marketing is not involved. And sales just wants to win and
Right.
win more. And so if we can show we're helping them win, I think we're making great, we're going in the right direction. I wouldn't say we are there at Slalom yet, but I think we're coming closer and closer. The other thing we've done is we've actually stepped into where sales has gaps for the short term or the medium term. So say building sales enablement materials. Sometimes our sales folks don't have the resources to build those materials. And so we're raising our hands saying, we can help you here, even though we know it's not part of what marketing typically does.
Yeah.
And I think doing all of these things builds trust, builds relationships, shows results. And that's the only way I think you can get really close partnership with sales.
Yeah, I love that. And so how do you then and your marketing teams make sure that you are keeping up to, there's a lot of moving pieces here, right? So, you're educating internally, externally, but you've also got to educate yourselves as marketing teams. So what do you do and what do your teams do to make sure that they're, all up on the latest and greatest?
Yeah, another good question, because marketing keeps changing. I think the
Right.
first thing is, and this is one of Slalom's core values, is keep a learner mindset. And so we all in our marketing team and across Slalom believe that we can learn more every day. And so we stay curious and keep a learner's mindset. The other thing I have learned is hire really good people, better than me in their specific area. So I have a very strong leadership team, passionate about their specific areas of marketing, and they are keeping up on all the evolution that's happening around Gen AI and ABM and everything else that's going on. And I think that's really important. And then have a few marketing evangelists in your organization who can go and share it outside. What I've noticed, it's kind of contradictory, but marketers are not great at marketing themselves.
Right.
And so how do we create this motion where we naturally can speak, where we can naturally speak to our stakeholders in their language, not marketing speak, so they understand what we're doing and how we're impacting what we're doing?
Yeah. What impact is, you mentioned generative AI and, some other things, what impact has that had, on how you approach marketing?
Well, I think everyone is dealing with what is
Yeah.
Gen AI and what impact does it have. And I think one of the things that I've been telling my team is that Gen AI is not the solution. It's the tool to get to the solution. So what is our strategy? What is our outcome? And how can Gen AI help us get X% better, Y% faster, more efficient? And we're still learning. I don't think I could say that we have an answer, but I will say in some areas we're doing more than others. So I think everyone will say this content is an area where Gen AI can really help do the first draft, work through different drafts, etc. Creative is another area. So we're exploring how Gen AI can help us, but more importantly, how our humans can work more impactfully with Gen AI. And it's really, I think, adapting an organization to use AI is much more difficult than just bringing AI in. And there's so many people who just are not comfortable using it. And I believe that the next big challenge for companies is getting their organizations educated and trained to use the tools that we're giving them.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds, it's about integrating it in a meaningful way, not just kind of, add some AI to it or whatever. And it sounds like that, being thoughtful, in other words, about how it's integrated with the teams is how you're approaching it. Is that safe?
Yes, I would say integrated and train.
Yeah.
We're doing apprenticeship models, we're doing training, we're doing sit around and put in different words and phrases and ask into Gen AI. See the results, the prompts make a big difference. So
Yeah.
I think what we've seen is just integrating AI is a good ask. Training people and removing the fear is really the big win for anyone using AI.
Yeah, love it. Well, Sangeeta, thanks so much for joining today. Really appreciate all your ideas and insights here. One last question before we wrap up. What do you do to stay agile in your role, and how do you find a way to do it consistently?
How do I stay agile in my role? So, yeah, to me, agile doesn't mean faster. Agile means the ability to pivot quickly while keeping true to your strategy and focus. And I think what I try to do is learn from the best. So it's back to that learner mindset. I attend conferences, I read, I listen to podcasts, I learn from my team, I talk to lots of people, to lots of CMOs, and it's just the desire to sort of the thirst to learn more, the desire to learn more and keep on top of things. And as you know, there are hundreds and hundreds of marketing tools available out there to learn more, to listen more. And I try to be diverse in my ability to take advantage of all of them. And I find little nuggets in different places.
Yeah, I love it. Well, again, I'd like to thank Sangeeta Prasad, CMO of Slalom, for joining the show. You can learn more about Sangeeta and Slalom by following the links in the show notes. Thanks again for listening to the B2B Agility Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to subscribe and leave us a rating so that others can find the show more easily. You can access more episodes of the show at www.b2bagility.com. That's b2bagility.com. While you're there, check out my series of best-selling Agile brand guides covering a wide variety of marketing technology topics, or you can search for Greg Kihlstrom on Amazon. Until next time, stay focused and stay agile.
The Agile brand.